You don't want to mess with him. That's a stone cold killer. Yeah, you don't want to mess with him. I mean, he's stone cold. Whoo, Met boy's bad.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and I'm finally back from Origins. I was away for 5.5 days visiting Origins, up to all sorts of shenanigans in the world of collectible card games. It was super fun, but I did miss a few days of deck tech uploads, and now that I'm back and I'm caught up on Magic spoilers, we can get back into the meat and potatoes of these crazy Final Fantasy standard deck tech ideas that I've just been dying to get out to you guys. The first of which we're doing today, which is Cold Blood. You're a cold-hearted snake. You don't play by rules. It's true. This deck is utilizing Summon Primal Odin and Jill Shiva's Dominant because Jill just happens to be able to give Primal Odin unblockable on just the right turn to just get through for a combo win. But what's great about this deck is it doesn't put all its eggs in one basket. Like, that combo win isn't plan A. We have so many synergies that overlap here with Ninja Tribal as well, and a bunch of crazy, ridiculous synergies that are using like enters the battlefield abilities and the ability to bounce your own things and replay them, and re-triggers enters the battlefield abilities, and just all sorts of craziness. We've got a heck of a deck tech breakdown for you guys to check out. I go in very deep explaining all of the synergies here, but it's so crazy having a deck that does two completely different things at the same time, where most of the cards in the deck just have overlapping synergies and work for both. It's super fun. I love it. I can't wait to iterate on more versions of this deck in the future, but for now I'm just super excited to try the ℷ𝕆𝕃𝔻 version and for you guys to check this out for sure. I recommend trying to brew it yourself and try it on the ranked ladder because it surprisingly beat a ton of aggro decks, which I didn't really expect, but once I realized the potential for this deck when curving out the interaction and the real tempo that it can present in the early game, coupled with all of the ridiculous stuff that we can do in the mid to late game, I realized just how crazy this deck does have the potential to be. Before we dive into the deck and then get into the gameplay, please like the video. It helps me get it out to more people. It helps the channel grow. I would appreciate that so much. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. If you're into Magic the Gathering or Wonders of the First or card games in general, you are in the right place. Also, be sure to catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn. Because if I'm live and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. This video has been sponsored by Wonders of the First, but I'll tell you about that later. Let's break down the deck. Alright, so I came up with the concept of this deck during early access and never got around to actually building the deck, but it's just been stuck in the back of my brain for so long, and I'm finally able to try it out and make it come to fruition. There are two things that this deck is trying to do at the same time, so it sort of has a pivot. You can do plan A or plan B. Plan A revolves around Primal Odin, a 6-mana 5/3 for 2 black and 4, enchantment creature Saga Knight. On chapter 1, destroy any creature. On chapter 2, you get Zentatsuken! This creature gains, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. And that's what we're focusing on here. If we can make sure that Odin can get in for damage on turn 2, we just straight up win the game. And normally, I think in most decks, it's kind of too cute to try to build around that. But when you're able to build your deck in a way where there are ways to make sure you get in and there's nothing they can do, and those ways are kind of like silver lining value and there's no opportunity cost to including them, that's when things start to get really crazy. Also on chapter 3 we do have Hall of Sorrow, so if we don't kill them on chapter 2, we're going to draw 2 cards. Each player is going to lose 2 life, including our opponent, and we're going to keep the snowball rolling, hopefully. That brings us to our enabler, Jill, Shiva's Dominant. Jill is so good with Odin in multiple ways. We're playing Jill for 3. If we want, we can return the Odin to our hand to replay it to get another crack at getting through on the correct turn on chapter 2 to just win the game. Not to mention re-triggering the ability to kill something and all that good stuff. But Jill is also really good while you're curving out, getting rid of the opponent's stuff, you know, keeping the board state clear of problematic things, making it hard for your opponent to race you. But what really makes Jill really cool is you pay 5 mana, tap her, exile her, and she returns to the battlefield transformed, comes back as Shiva, Warden of Ice, a 4/5 legendary enchantment creature saga elemental. And on chapters 1 and 2, you have the Mesmerize ability. Target creature can't be blocked this turn. You can probably see where this is going. On chapter 3, you also have Cold Snap, so you tap all lands your opponents control, exile Shiva, return it to the battlefield as Jill, which will also let you bounce another thing, and you can potentially rinse and repeat. So what we do is, if we just get Odin out while we already have a Jill out, we kill something, cool, nice value. Even if they kill the Odin or the Jill, like, we already got value. Like, we killed something with chapter 1 of Gungnir. Jill bounced something when she first came down. So it's not the end of the world. But if they don't kill one of these, and both of them are still in play, if Jill's already out, we play Odin. On turn 2, chapter 2 triggers, we get that Zentatsuken! And then all we gotta do is pay 5 mana, exile Jill, and make it unblockable, and swing in for the win. And like I said, this would normally be too cute to try to build a deck around, but the fact that all of this value is just sort of extra, and there's very low opportunity cost to include this value in the deck, because both of the cards synergize with other things in the deck on their own, so you don't need to get the combo win to win, but it's just there. And that's what makes it so sweet. The other half of the deck revolves around Kaito and some sort of like ninja tribal stuff. Because of the way that Kaito tends to line up really well with both Jill and Odin. First of all, we have 3 copies of Kaito Dancing Shadow, 4 mana, 3 loyalty planeswalker. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to a player, we can bounce one of them and let ourselves activate the loyalty abilities of Kaito an additional time. Oh god, my allergies. Apologies. So, we could potentially activate Kaito's loyalty abilities twice in the same turn. We can also bounce our own creatures, which means we could bounce our Jill to be able to replay Jill to bounce another thing, or we could bounce our Odin in order to replay it, kill something, and reset all of the chapters to try to get another crack at Zentatsuken. Sorry, Zentetsuken. Zentatsuken! It'll always be that to me. +1 loyalty ability on Kaito Dancing Shadow. Make it so a creature can't attack or block until your next turn, which sometimes just lets you get through with the Odin as well. It's also really good defense against mono red aggro, especially if you can swing with something, because then you can activate it again and make it so that 2 creatures can't attack you on your opponent's next turn. Really good against mono red aggro and some of the prowess decks. We can also 0 loyalty to draw a card, and we can -2 to create a 2/2 drone with Death Touch that when it leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So you drain for 2, and what's cool about that is it triggers off leaving the battlefield, not off dying. So even if we bounce the drone to our hand so that we can get another crack with Kaito's loyalty abilities, we still get to drain the 2 life, which is just a nightmare for mono red and prowess decks. But also, if we manage to bounce those drones with other things, like maybe Jill, if we're really desperate to gain life because we think our opponent's maybe got a lightning strike coming up and we're at 3 or something, we can just play the Jill, bounce a drone, gain some life. So there is a little bit of extra silver lining value there. But Kaito's just amazing because he puts all of the things that we want back in our hand to be able to get, you know, enters the battlefield abilities to re-trigger and stuff like that, gets them back into our hand while also enabling double loyalty abilities. It just gets really nutty. We've also got 3 copies of Kaito Bane of Nightmares because we can use it in a similar fashion. We can ninjutsu this in when something's unblocked to bounce the thing that we ninjutsu and put this into play instead. So it's another way of potentially returning like a Jill or an Odin or a number of the other cards in our deck to our hand. But then also, we get all this extra value out of Kaito Bane of Nightmares. We can uptick to get an emblem.
Everyone in this room is now done.
That's true, Chunky. You're not wrong. We can uptick to get an emblem that gives all of our ninjas +1/+1 forever. And we have a lot of ninjas in this deck just incidentally, right? We've also got 0 Surveil to draw a card for each opponent who lost life. The Surveil is nice because it can put things in the graveyard, like the Odin, which we'll get to in just a minute why we want to do that. There are a lot of cards in this deck that are also drawing and discarding. And I'll explain why in just a moment. We also have the -2 tap a creature, put 2 stun counters on it, which helps us, you know, win races and deal with problematic threats on the opponent's side. But the reason we're trying to dump things in the yard is because we have 4 copies of Coiling Rebirth. If we get to 5 mana and we have an Odin in the yard, we can Coiling Rebirth the Odin, and we get 2 copies. And then we get to kill 2 things with Chapter 1, and then even if we don't have a way in play to make it unblockable, killing 2 creatures and having 2 creatures that if either one of them deals combat damage, we just win. Sometimes we can just win organically even without making it unblockable, and it can be really insane. It's also just really, really good value. So you're going to notice a number of cards in this deck are drawing and discarding so that we can put stuff in the yard so that we have it there for Coiling Rebirth, and because of that, we're also running 1 copy of Bahamut, which is an amazing creature to get back with Coiling Rebirth. It's like an Odin turned up to 11, destroy up to any 1 non-land permanent on chapters 1 and 2, then draw cards, then Mega Flare for the win. Absolutely nuts. We've also got 1 copy of Summon Knights of the Round to bring back with Coiling Rebirth as well, which can get crazy. 2 3/3 indestructible creatures and 6 2/2 knights out of just 1 Coiling Rebirth, and then still all of the double of all the triggers every single turn after that is just utterly insane. And then we also have 1 copy of Summon Leviathan, 6 mana for a 6/6 with Ward 2, and on chapter 1 we return everything that's not a Kraken, Leviathan, Merfolk, or Octopus or Serpent. So not only do we pretty much wipe their board, return everything to their hand, get rid of all their tokens, but most of our stuff has value in our hands, so putting a lot of that stuff back into our own hand can be really beneficial. And we also get to keep the Leviathan and potentially some other creatures that do have the creature type, which brings me to 4 copies of Floodpits Drowner. This works with everything. We flash it in, we tap one of their dudes down, we put a stun counter on it, we can return it with the Kaito so that we can do it all over again, we can return it with the 𝐽𝑗 if we need to so that we can do it all over again. It's a merfolk, so if we do happen to have it out when we play Leviathan or bring Leviathan back with a Coiling Rebirth, we also get to keep it on the battlefield and just absolutely demolish our opponent when it comes to tempo and racing them to try to finish the game, which can be utterly insane. So Floodpits Drowner is the best kind of removal in this deck because there are just so many different synergies that are overlapping that you can do with this guy. Absolutely must include. We also have 2 copies of Nashi Searcher in the Dark, 2/2 Menace. It's going to count as a ninja, get all of our ninja benefits from our Kaito. And it's also, when it connects, we get to self-mill ourselves, cards equal to the power, the amount of damage that we did to the opponent, which is a lot easier to do with Menace and all of the things that make it hard for our opponent to block in this deck. And then we can take any number of legendary or enchantment cards from among them, put them into our hand, and get value that way. And almost every card in the deck, other than the Floodpits Drowner and some of the non-creatures, are legendaries. Like the Kaitos, they're all the Ertai, the Emmet, the 3-drop Kaito, the 2 Nashis itself. We've got 1 copy of Malcolm and 1 copy of 𝐻𝑒𝐿 because they are legendary ways for us to draw and discard more cards to set up Coiling Rebirth. Just a lot of ways to get value off of ninjas, and to get value off of discarding, and to get value off of self-milling. Just a lot of versatility there. And with Nashi in particular, not only can we put like planeswalkers we find into our hand, or some of these legendary creatures, but because all of the summons are enchantments, we can actually put the summons back in our hand if we want to. Sometimes we're gonna want to leave them in there when we self-mill them because we're getting ready for a Coiling Rebirth. But other times we might want to put them into our hand, especially if we have other things we plan on playing that let us discard from our hand to draw, because then we still get like the Odin in the graveyard, but we don't have to discard things that we want to keep in our hand in order to play those cards. So it can be really, really nice. We've also got 2 copies of Saiba Cryptomancer, just a little bit of protection to keep our key things alive at key moments, whether that's the Odin or maybe a 𝐽𝑗 that we want to flip next turn. But also it's a ninja itself, so it can pick up a lot of the ninja tribal synergies, which is really nice. So like I said at the beginning of this deck tech, like we can pivot into trying to get the crazy combo win with Odin and 𝐽𝑗, or we can run this as like a crazy ninja deck which just sort of comes out of nowhere and just takes over with value from ninjas. And because of that, we also have one copy of Ninja's Blades, which is really good in this deck. It can equip to whatever we want and turn it into a ninja so that it can pick up all of the ninja benefits. We could theoretically like equip that to an Odin, make Odin a ninja, and it gets buffed by all the emblems that we're making with Kaito, which just seems really crazy. But in addition to giving us, you know, ninja tribal support, it gives us this ability that whenever we attack with the thing that this equips, we get to draw a card, discard a card. When we do, they lose a life equal to the discarded card's mana value, which might be like 8 or 9, depending on what we discard. And then we're getting the thing in the graveyard that we want to be there to set up Coiling Rebirth. So it does sort of all of our synergies, and this is kind of the one card I'm thinking about potentially adding more copies of. Maybe go up to 2 or 3, because it just works with so many different synergies in the deck at the same time, and I kind of love it. We're also running one copy of Emet-Selch. It's another way to draw discard as soon as we play it. Gives us a huge butt against the aggro decks. And then if we do attack with Vigilance, so we still get to keep it as a blocker, we get to draw and discard all over again. We get to set up our graveyard with Coiling Rebirth hits. And then if we do happen to get to 14 cards in the graveyard, which is not impossible because this deck has a lot of draw and discard, we get to just transform him into a 6/6 Vigilance guy that lets us recast literally everything from our graveyard. So we can recast the normal cheap things organically, but we can also recast Coiling Rebirths that are in our graveyard that maybe we used earlier or got self-milled or something like that to get out the big things, and maybe even have just enough mana to organically replay Odins from our graveyard as well. Just absolutely nutty in the right situation, especially if we're trying to grind out the long game up against control. So I think running one copy of Emet-Selch is pretty cool. We've also got one copy of 3-drop Kaito, just for the extra synergies with ninjas. Being able to make something unblockable with the uptick is really nice, synergizes with Odin. Making ninjas is really nice for all the ninja synergies. Being able to draw a card, discard a card is really nice to set up Coiling Rebirth. So 3-drop Kaito also kind of just does everything that we want to do in this deck. And then to finish it off, we've got 2 copies of Bounce Off. That kind of goes with our 4 copies of Floodpits Drowner to give us a nice 6-card package of early removal to help keep up with the tempo of our opponent, slow down aggro, and give us a chance to sort of race as we're curving out, even though that's not really the plan. Just holds off our opponent long enough for us to get some of our engines going. And then just one copy of Ertai. Just another bit of removal later on that can give us 2-for-1 value in certain circumstances, and is very versatile, can take out a lot of different problems, counter non-creature spells and activated abilities, destroy any creature or planeswalker, but also give us a body. And it is something that we can bounce and replay with things like Jill or the Kaito trigger, stuff like that. So just a lot of versatility to be had, and that's pretty much the deck. Because almost everything in the deck is legendary, we can run 4 Plaza of Heroes, and it ends up being really amazing. This can be black or blue for most of the cards we're playing in the deck, at least while we're curving out. And it's also a way for us to just protect some of our legendary targets a little bit later on in the game. We're also running one copy of Soulstone Sanctuary, because in a pinch we can turn it into a ninja and take advantage of some of our ninja tribal benefits. But you don't want to go too crazy with the colorless lands, because if you have too many, you might not be able to play out the stuff that you want to play out as early as you want to, especially if it's like Nashi, where you have no room for colorless, Bounce Off, where you have no room for colorless. It can be kind of problematic. So just one Soulstone Sanctuary is a little bit of spice, 4 Fabled Passages to complement the 4 Undercity Sewers that we want to play anyway for the Surveil, so we can set up our graveyard for Coiling Rebirth. And because of that, that lets us play a lot more basics and hit our land types to play all 4 Verges, which is really nice. And then just one Restless Reef, because in certain situations, we can just mill ourselves to try to set up our Coiling Rebirth. which could be really nice, but we're never going to need a second copy of this. We're never going to have enough mana sitting around to activate 2 of these in the same turn and attack with both. So I think just one, as again, just a little bit of extra spice, just a little bit of extra oomph in this deck is the right number. And that's the deck. The entire deck is listed in the deck description, and I've got a link to 𝐴𝑡Hub, so definitely check those out. I recommend giving this deck a whirl. I do think there are going to be some ways we can iterate on it in the future and upgrade it, but just the core of the concept I think is really fun, and I'm super stoked that there's just so many overlapping synergies that allow both halves of this deck to work really, really well, without having to go too deep into one or the other, where you feel backed into a corner and all your eggs are in one basket. So I think the deck's super fun and super powerful, and it actually did surprisingly well against aggro decks, which was kind of a surprise to me. But all of the tempo with the Floodpits Drowners and the 𝐽𝐽s just really help out in the early game, and then by the time they can push past that, you've got a Kaito potentially locking down 2 of their attackers' blockers every turn, and it is just kind of easier than expected to just really hold your own against aggro, and I sort of love it. But that's the deck. I'm gonna shut up because I've rambled way too much already. Let's check out the games. I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Wonders of the First. Wonders of the First is a brand new collectible card game similar to games like Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, featuring a unique action-based resource economy that helps avoid pitfalls like mana flood or mana screw, and a battlefield containing multiple realms that unlock over time as you fight for control of the stones. The first 400 card set is called Existence, and they've even partnered with Star City Games to host their competitive play tour at every single SCG-Con event starting in August. The game contains alternate borderless art variants, as well as highly sought after limited edition numbered prints, culminating in a 1-of-1 stone foil. And the best part is that the developers have a community-first approach, with a card database and deck builder available via Cardio, as well as a version of the game available on Tabletop Simulator, all for free. For more information, be sure to check out wondersccg.com today. That's wondersccg.com. Alright, we're gonna keep this. The only problem is we don't have a 2-drop and we don't have a 3rd land. But since we're on the draw, we should be able to get there. Hopefully. Let's just keep it. I think the hand's too good to just toss back. But I am a bit worried. Alright, so we'll start with the island. 2-drop into a 3rd land would be marvelous. A 3rd land itself would be fine. No 3rd land is going to be a huge problem. Big ol' Saz's Chocobo. Big ol' Saz's Chocobo. And okay. No 2-drop, no nothing. 3 Kaitos and 2 Shivas. Like, don't need them. Don't really need them. Really don't. Opponent also not really sure what they're doing. Macro Hobbit. It looks like a landfall deck, but 2 forests right off the cuff makes it feel very mono green, especially with Fabled Passage. So like, is this mono green landfall? I don't know what this is. It's bizarre. Archdruid's Charm, Fabled Passage, sure. I guess we play Nashi? Yeah, this is one of the reasons this game frustrates me so much. It's like, if you only play Magic, you're so used to it that it's just like, you're inside a bubble, and you don't realize how ridiculous and archaic it is to have things like Mana Flood and Mana Screw even exist in your game. Like, they're just so outdated and archaic. Granted, I don't usually like the other end of the spectrum either. A game like Hearthstone, where it's just like, you get all of your energy automatically and never have to worry about drawing into things that get you energy and the variance that injects into your deck building and into the gameplay. But man, just playing so much Wonders of the First lately, it's the perfect in-between. It's got the best of both worlds. We will discard Odin, I suppose. What a bizarre hand, man. Just makes me really want to go back to playing Wonders. Tifa, sure. Floodpits. There we are. It's about time. We'll play chill. We'll bounce the Tifa. Replays the Tifa. What's the last card? Probably something that will trigger the Tifa that he's gonna hold on to. Plaza. Plaza's nice. We'll play Kaito. We will uptick so Tifa can't attack or block. We will attack. We will bounce the Jill. And then we will uptick so that the ℏ𝕆𝐾𝐳 can't attack or block. No attacking or blocking for you, sir. None. There can be only none. It can't attack. It can't attack, you goober. Get out of here. No attacking for Tifa. He doesn't know how the card works. Kaito's so good. It's so underestimated, but it's so good. Attack or block until your next turn is just kind of bananas. Alright, no attacking or blocking for Tifa. Hexproof and indestructible. Well, we're gonna have to shut that down. Can we just counter it? It's better to just kill the thing, right? Let's kill the thing. Attack with Jill. Bounce Jill. +1. We don't even need to +1 the ℏ𝕆𝐾𝐳, do we? Let's -2 and just put out another blocker that drains. He's not going to be able to get it big enough. Not to push through both of these. Alright, he's got the Hydra. He's got the Hydra. What's the last card? What is the last card? Man, we really need some land, huh? Well, we'll play Shiva. We will uptick to hit the ℏ𝕆𝐾𝐳. Cannot attack or block. We will swing for 5. Return Ertai to our hand. And then we have another loyalty ability, so we'll make another token. Just need one more land. We can win so easily. We've got the combo ready to go. We bring back the Primal Odin. We get 2 of them because of Coiling Rebirth. And then the next turn we just transform Jill and win. We'll probably just kill him with damage though before we get there. Mossborn Hydra. Replays the thing. Uptick the Chocobo. And we'll attack with everything. This time we'll bounce one of the drones because it drains when it leaves play, which is kind of awesome. We will make another drone, and if we had a way of getting rid of both drones right now, we could just win. Oh hey, we do. We're gonna Jill. We bounce one drone and then we bounce off our other drone. We drain for 4 and we win. Awesome. Alright, this looks like... this hand is just fine. We'll keep it. Whatever, man. You're not that mighty. You think you're a wizard? You're playing with a rabbit. Who plays with a rabbit? Island and pass. Look at this man. He's no wizard. He's got his little animals. Pathetic. Pathetic. Well, I don't think I'll do. Well, let's start with the Nashi. We'll start with the Nashi. This man's no wizard. He doesn't even know what to do against Nashi. He's never even seen a Nashi. He's too busy playing with his little forest animals. Leonin Vanguard. That is a very furry Vanguard. Very furry. Very. It's a lot of life gain, isn't it? Start with this. We could always flash in the Saiba Cryptomancer. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. You sucker. You sucker. Say goodbye to your furry friends. No furry friends for this whatever man. I find it hilarious that he says he's the mighty, and he's playing with little rabbits. So mighty. So rabbit. I'm shaking. Well, do it like this. slow down his tempo. Doesn't really matter what he hits. The point is he won't be able to cast much of anything else. Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, whatever. You know, that bat is certainly ruining my lurking. That's for damn sure. We're gonna play this. We need to discard this. How do we do that? He's not gonna fall for the bluff, is he? Oh, he is gonna fall for the bluff. Glorious. Ninjutsu out, take back the Cryptomancer. Hit for damage. And then we've got a loyalty ability. We could tap this guy, put counters on him. Problem is, we'd have to pay the ward too. I think it's better to just do this.
My eyes are as sharp as my sword.
End the turn. We can't really stop the bat. But that's fine. Swing, swing, swing. Sure.
I like a challenge.
I'm gonna bounce off the Essence Channeler. Play the Fabled Passage. Grab you. And we'll just go 𝑚𝑖𝑟. Destroy the Sanctifier. And we'll use this. Ooh, that's nice. We got all sorts of gas. Now, if he doesn't have removal for Jill and Odin, we just win. And he might not see that coming. Oh, he does. Oh, but he hits the Kaito. He doesn't see it, guys. He doesn't see it. Guys, he doesn't see it. Zentatsuken! Unblockable. I am the smartest man alive! It's real good. Can we keep this? Well, we've got Emet-Selch on 3. We're on the play. I think we have to. I'm not super thrilled because we don't have a 2-drop, but we've got 3 lands and Emet-Selch, and then we're putting the Odin in the yard for Rebirth. We just need 2 more lands, and we're drawing with Selch to get there. So I think all of it is just too good to toss back. If we're up against an aggro deck, it's going to be a little bit problematic, but since we are on the play, it won't be as problematic. Still really would love to have a 2-drop. Sleight of Hand. Well, we got another land. At least we know we're pretty close to getting the 5 we need for Coiling Rebirth. So there's that. Fabled Passage for an island. What is this fella doing? Excuse me. All of the sneezes. Well, we're pretty close to doing the thing, which is nice. We will discard the Odin, for sure. Next turn we can jam ℓ𝐸, and with a little bit of luck, maybe even something else as well. One card. Ooh, we could replay the Emet-Selch. That's interesting. I like that. Oh, this is just another prowess deck. Boring. Boring. So boring. We'll hold up 2 mana to bluff interaction here. Get the ℓ𝐸 out. That sounds rad, Foozy. I'm excited to see it. Come on, play some stuff. I need you to tap out. Play some stuff. Oh, here he goes. We know he needs to double spell. Glorious. Eh? Flood Maw my ℓ𝐸. That's fine. That's fine. Soulstone Sanctuary, Coiling Rebirth. Let's gift you a card, shall we? It's time to Odin. Welcome to Odin. Boom. You need removal or blockers. You've got 2 creatures on the board that, if either of them connects, you're dead next turn. Which feels really nice. Swift Spear. Sentetsuken. Do it. Attack me. Do it, old maid. Come on. What? Are you out of your mind? He's lost. Does he not know how Odin works? Read the card, bro. Oh my god. This is gonna be a little bit weird. We've got blue for Malcolm and Jill, but we won't have it for Saiba Cryptomancer. I still think it's worth keeping. 𝐿𝑒𝐿. Almost a 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿. Hello, dog. I think the dogs are just as upset that our opponent's not playing yet. Mulligan, huh? Mulligana. Alright, well, we will start with a Verge. Alright, the Verge starts with blue, not black. We don't even need the Plaza for blue. Never mind. Pass a turn. We will Malcolm at the end of his turn, and then Jill on our turn. Yeah, because of the double strike, it's just going to be too problematic, unfortunately. Alright, so we'll jam the Malcolm. Play another land. Attack. Draw. I guess we discard the Bahamut first, huh? Then we'll go with Jill. Bounce the Heartfire hero. All's well that ends well. Mana War is a hell of a card. That's all I got to say. Mana War is a hell of a card. Two double strike. We'll take 4 if it's keeping like some of his other creatures from swinging. Then that's pretty good. Let's swing with just the Malcolm. Interesting. Very interesting. We'll dump the Odin. We'll play the Restless Reef. We can hold up Bounce Off and Saiba Cryptomancer, which is awesome. We'll end the turn. We're going to stop all the things. Everything. Another Manifold Mouse. Yowza. Yowza. It's fine. That is fine. Monstrous Rage. Monstrous Rage. Okay. That's really bizarre, but sure. You dummy. Haven't even blocked yet. You dummy. You gotta wait until I block, so you can utilize the trample to get through the blocker. What are you thinking? Start with the sewers. Dump the Kaito. Play a Kaito. No dice for you. We will attack. Bounce you. And then we'll go with this. Pop out a drone. Heartfire Hero, no haste. Heartfire Hero, no haste. All's well that ends well. Come at me. All of the double striking mices. Glorious. Thank you for that. Alright, now we're up to 6 lands, which is what we kind of needed. Hold up Ertai and Malcolm, I guess? Pass the turn. Screaming Nemesis. I really don't want him to draw a card. Does get to draw a card, which is unfortunate. I mean, yeah, if that's what you're doing, we just let you through. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Play the Malcolm. Turn into a big old blocker. Big old blocker. We will swing with Malcolm. We are effectively racing mono red, which is kind of silly. Let's just do this. Let's take a chance. Surveil and draw. Well, that's pretty good for next turn, but there probably won't be a next turn. Yeah, I should have played it safe. Tapped a creature. That's on me. That's 12. I swung for a Hail Mary. I wanted to find some kind of interaction. And I figured that by surveilling and then drawing, digging 3 cards, I should be able to find it. But I was wrong. Should have just tapped something down. Malfatoro. What a name. You are a standard bearer. We're going to keep this. 2 Floodpits Drowner if we're up against red. Which we're always up against red, right? Because of the championship decks all being red. So we can expect that to be everything until the 30th when we get some bans. Odin in the yard seems really good. Go ahead, Hired Claw. Do your worst. Alright, you can get him for 4. And we're going to stop you right there, buddy. Pass a turn. I'm going to drown you. I'm going to drown you. I will massacre you! Manifold Mouse. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Okay? Who? I'll tell you who you are, Malfatoro. You're a standard bearer. You know what standard means? Basic. Generic. Unimportant and uninteresting. Use your trick. Get it out of your hand now. That's right. I don't want to deal with it later. So basic. Go on. Skedaddle. We don't like your kind around here. This isn't the place for standard bearers, okay? Go ahead, hit me for 6. It's fine. Oh, right. It's not a mouse. What a loser. Whatever, we'll trade our Jill. We'll just trade our Jill. I'm not worried about it. Alright, we have some decisions to make. We've got Ertai. We've got Kaito. I think if we already had a creature down, Kaito would be the way to go. So I think it's better to probably Floodpits Drowner Malcolm. And then Kaito next turn. Or at least hold up the ability to use Ertai. If we absolutely need to. So I'm just going to pass. We almost definitely want to tap down that Screaming Nemesis. Self-destruct? So we take 6? Does he have a lightning strike in his hand? Because, like, you probably should have let me choose what I was tapping down first. Right? Right? Let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. Twin Maw. Sure. That's fine. You're running out of gas. And we've got a Malcolm in the middle. Malcolm in the middle. I guess we just do this. We'll start with swinging with Malcolm. We're not going to need 2 Coiling Rebirths this game. We're just not. I'd rather have the versatility of all of these choices. And I think for this turn, we want to play the Kaito.
myself if I have to.
And he's not going to be able to untap, so we'll -2.
I've got the technological.
If I had played him first, I would have been able to bounce the ℒ𝐷𝐼𝐿𝐾𝐳, but I'm not even sure I wanted to bounce the ℒ𝐷𝐼𝐿𝐾𝐳. Hired Claw. Sure. Sure. We block with the Death Touch or drain for 2. Not even sure why he did that. I am not even sure why he did that. We'll uptick here.
That should be enough of a distraction.
Swing with both. Draw, discard. We'll get rid of another Kaito. Bounce the token, drain for 2. Use Kaito again. We will make it so that the challenger can't attack.
I'll handle this one.
We don't even need Jill. We'll hold up Ertai and bounce off. Honestly. I mean, it might be good to get it out there. We just don't need it, man. We just don't need it. Like, what are we bouncing? What are we bouncing? Realistically. I don't want to bounce any of this. Let's just end the turn. Yeah, get your cards. Get your cards. Can't attack with anything. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Alright, he scoops to the Ertai. We'll take it. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.